Two wheels are better than four. From the mountains to the shore, find us rolling up to the pub. We're 17 Scooters Club. Cheers. Hello, everybody. Welcome to 17 Scooters Club. I didn't realize we were going to cheers the camera.
The post-work necessary glass of wine.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, can I share something really quick? An update for, I think people know I'm a geologist and I work on a bunch of different kinds of projects sometimes. Right now, I'm working on kind of like a construction site, but we basically dig holes and dig dirt because we sample soil.
Your stories, I'm going to interrupt. Your stories are like so unbelievably wild. I'm like, how are these people like, you got to tell a story about how you got locked into a school, but continue.
Oh, well, I guess this is part of it. So we're sampling the soil in the area for pesticides and dioxins. Part of the sampling is at a school, an old school, a couple schools. Anyway, we have to get access to these spots because a lot of it is gated off. And I don't know what everyone's issue is, but they kept locking the gates while we were in there. So I was driving around. I had to go to the next site because we only have one day to get all of these done before the kids come back into, like, after break. And I got locked in a schoolyard with my car. I wasn't even in a rental car or like a work vehicle. I had my car and I was driving around like the schoolyard just fenced in. I was like, how do I get out? But anyway, yesterday I had a very crazy work day because our subcontractors, it's our first week with them. It's a new project. They show up to site. The first thing, hold on, submit my contact. I just took it out and putting it on my table. First thing they do, they show up to the job site, take a forklift, plow down a basketball hoop at the school. So I had a wild day of reporting and incident reporting. We had like a crazy safety thing. They had to have their company come out and like do a retraining on how to drive a forklift. And I just had to deal with a lot of people, but it was really funny. I wish I could share the video. I don't know if I can. It's not on base, so you
gotta send it to us at least.
I know. Oh, I thought I sent you guys the video.
No,
maybe.
Oh,
I don't
think you did.
I'll send it in our chat, and you guys can laugh at it.
And we will describe the video in our best ability.
Because I was like, there is absolutely no way. It was like the first 5 seconds on the job site of this project, and I was like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, that's pretty wild. They better feel very like mortified. Okay, we're watching it now. That's a big like they were going forwards. I thought you said they backed into it. They were going forward. No. And they freaking
he on his phone?
He just plowed it over.
He went really quick. That's actually so funny.
I know. And I was like,
get him out of there. Be like, I can't even be near you. That's scary. Oh my goodness.
It's just funny because the whole crew, they're all really young.
Yeah.
So it's just like dealing with just like a bunch of 20-year-old guys, like trying to babysit them all. And I'm like,
oops, I ran.
Oh my, someone help me.
That's exhausting. Mm-hmm. Well, my topic has to do with sort of geology and stuff that you do. Oh my god. I was killed a fly and then it flew away. So what do you think of when you think of Pfizer? Yeah, we're recording.
Oh, didn't know. Sorry, I walked away to get pretzels and I was eating.
Me and Natalie said chocolate. Cheers, and then
cheers.
Yeah. Anyways, what do you think of when you think of Pfizer?
I think of COVID vaccines and then cancer treatment facilities.
What if I said cheese? How would you think about cheese? So, Natalie, you would know this.
Would I?
I'm going all the way back. Okay. So, they basically created rennet. like an enzyme in rennet. Let me find the word because Natalie's going to know basically what it is. But it used to come from like natural resources. Like it used to not be like an enzyme, blah 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 blah. Oh, okay. Traditional cheese uses rennet from calf stomachs, right? And then so the 80s, biotech companies started making fermentation produced um trymosin, CHYMOSIN, which is genetically modified microbes. And Pfizer was the company that created this fermentation produced Chismin. And it was the first artificially produced enzyme approved by the FDA for food. And now, well, by 1999, 60% of US hard cheeses were made with FPC. And now around 90% is made with this enzyme that Pfizer came up with. And so there's nothing really about what this enzyme does for you, but it does beg the question, like, it can't be a coincidence that the people that are making your shots, your little pokes, also are in almost every cheese. Like, I eat a lot of cheese.
I
They
do eat
did
a
say
lot of
hard
cheese.
cheese though, so brie might be in the clear. I don't know. But that also, I also came up with, they, in the University of California, I forget which one of them because there's a lot. They started putting vaccines into vegetables, like growing vaccinations in tomatoes and lettuce.
That I
And you knew that? What do you know on the topic? Just that they're doing it?
Yeah, just that they started it a while ago.
They did. They started it a while ago. That's actually, this is all very Natalie coded, like with the ground and the soil. But basically, they say it's so they could give them to like third world countries where it's like hard to get other things. But like, do you think it's easier to ship lettuce with a vaccine in it than just shipping the vaccine? I don't know. And so apparently it's experimental, blah, blah, blah. There's still, oh, it's very big in tobacco. So tobacco, tomatoes, lettuce, and not potatoes, and rice. Potatoes is scary because
all of those things.
Would you be eating a French fry being like, oh, I'm just taking my daily dose of my COVID vaccine. Oh,
that's how they get away with it.
And these sweet potatoes, they're gonna keep me from getting ill this winter. Like, there's no tomatoes or lettuce in the food supply that vaccinate you right now, but that's a slippery slope. Like, what if you just start?
I think they don't have to tell you either.
They don't. I'm reading it right now. It says the FPC is approved as, quote, generally recognized as safe by the FDA. So it does not have to be explicitly labeled as a genetically engineered product. The USDA certified organic cheese prohibits its use, but it's in 90% of other cheeses.
Well, that's for the cheese, yeah. And then, I mean, they're probably putting vaccines in our cheese, but
we gotta
like for the lettuce and stuff, like I heard there are a lot of people saying that, you know, they should be in the pharmaceutical aisle. Like, they shouldn't be just in your tomato aisle, like right next to the regular tomatoes or the organic tomatoes. Like, they should be in like the pharmacy section. It's like, can you imagine getting your tomatoes from the pharmacy? Like, can you imagine giving like your kids or your grandkids like a plate, like a caprese salad, and being like, oh, this is a special caprese salad. This is going to give you your flu vaccine for the year. So if you're in school and they try to give you your flu vaccine with a salad, say no. Like, because then like dosage, and are you going to OD from like eating lettuce? Like,
I mean,
is it going to be one piece on your In-N-Out burger, or is it going to be like a whole bowl? You have to eat a whole bowl of lettuce? That sounds like torture to begin with.
I wonder if there's any connection between, like we were talking about last week, do you think this is an undercover CIA operation where it's going to all be like published in 50 years, but they're going to say, yeah, we were doing human cheese testing?
Well, they'd have to test. Yeah,
right?
I think that they're doing some sort of they're probably doing some sort of testing on us right now. And it's just like, oh, it's part of your citizenship. If you live in America, you just gotta do it.
I don't even know if it's CIA like testing or if it's just the pharmaceutical companies and the FDA doing their own thing, where they're just like, we feel like drugging people because no one wanted the COVID vaccine. That was our test to see if people would actually get it.
Yeah.
And a lot of people woke up and were like, oh, we don't want it. So they're like, well, how are we going to drug them anyway?
Yeah. And this opened a door between food companies, pharmaceutical companies, what was the other one? Chemical companies, all overlapping with each other. So obviously we know Monsanto's a big one. We've all heard about that. That's a chemical company making things like saccharin, which is the artificial sweetener. I forget if that's yellow or pink. We're not an artificial sweetener family, so obviously, but they became famous for Roundup and genetically engineered seeds, which I believe Natalie would know. Those are now, you get a fine if you're not growing, like I think soybeans from Monsanto. Like you need to grow Monsanto soybeans.
Yes,
or you get fined.
And then you can't, like, let's say you grow your own crop and then you have seeds from that crop. You can't use those. They have to be certified seeds. Like, you have to buy the seeds, even if it's by accident.
Buy them. Yeah. Okay, so Monsanto's agrobiotech business was at one point part of the Pharmaca and Upjohn. It's a pharmacy company. And Pharmaca was later purchased by Pfizer, coming all together, meaning Monsanto and Pfizer were once under the same corporate umbrella in past configuration. In 2018, Bayer, a pharma chem giant, we all know that, bought Monsanto for $63 billion and retired the Monsanto name. So RIP Monsanto, now allegedly your soybeans are from Bayer. And then another one. Okay, here we go. Kraft mac and cheese.
Mac and cheese.
AKA
not the mac and cheese.
Big cheese meets big tobacco. Kraft started their cheese company and became like monster packaged foods empire with cheese Oscar Mayer's, Maxwell House, Jell-O. In 1988, Kraft was bought by Philip Morris, a tobacco giant that makes Marlboro. Wow, I can't say that one. Marlboro. Marlboro. I'm just gonna.
Marlboro.
There we go. Philip had already bought General Foods, which was Jell-O, Maxwell House, and later Nabisco, which is Oreo's rich crackers, and merged them Nabisco with
I think Pepsi owns all of those.
Probably. Philip later rebranded as Altria, but for years, Big Tobacco effectively owned Kraft Cheese, Oscar Mayer, Post cereals, and Nabisco snacks. Now, General Electric. Edison's electric company from 1892, which is a classic industrial giant. They make electrical equipment and appliances, plastics, industrial material, medical imaging, healthcare tech. They do finances, so the GE Capital and Media owned RCA and NBC for decades. GE is about everything industrial, but then also not really directly pharma. But the fact that they're like making plastic, medical engineering, it's like they're kind of doing everything.
Did they own Big Cheese?
They did not own Big Cheese.
Okay. I was gonna say that would be a turn of events.
They probably sold you the equipment that makes Big Cheese.
Okay.
So Bayer, Bayer, is that how you'd say that? Bayer?
Bayer. Like
Bayer.
They sell different like painkillers, like ibuprofen.
Yep. They were founded in 1863 in Germany as a dye and chemical company. Aspirin, they branded it. They're very famous for that. In early production of heroin as a cough suppressant. So Bayer produced heroin. They make like the broad pharmaceuticals and chemicals. In 2018, Bayer, like we said, acquired Monsanto. So the same people who produced heroin and tried to use it as a cough suppressant now owns soybeans and a lot of what you're growing. Natalie could probably give you a more accurate percentage of how much Monsanto owns. But they also are Roundup, GMO seeds, whatnot.
I said I'm actually not sure exactly how much they own.
I would guess like I've watched that documentary. It's massive. It's a massive amount. And now, what's our favorite chocolate company besides Hershey's and Nestle? So they're a Swiss food and drink giant, starting from condensed milk and baby food in the 1800s. Now we all know Nestle because Mom's obsessed with condensed milk. We like normal people. Like I haven't had condensed milk on hand since I've moved out, and I'm a big baker, so that's saying a lot.
Yeah.
Anyways, they're known for chocolate and candy, so Kit Kat, Smarties, bottled water, which is a little shady. Isn't Nestle's bottled water is the one that's not like? Is that the one that's not great? I gotta look up their brand. Coffee, so Nescafe and Nespresso.
Oh.
I didn't know. I mean, it's really obvious now.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that Nespresso, like they made like the luxury Nespresso machines.
I did not know that was them either.
Yeah. Pet food. So they own Purina.
Oh.
Ice cream, dairy, and cereal. So they're probably using the same rennet that Pfizer created. And then tons of nutrition and supplement brands. They also had stakes in health and nutrition companies, even a significant stake in L'Oreal. But they're mainly food and nutrition, not classic pharma. So I thought that was wild that all of these companies just kind of are a big blanket and a big cloud cover, as one might say, of all of these. They do everything. And it makes you wonder, like, why is the person who created heroin making you aspirin now? Like, I don't know.
And what are they hiding in the different things? Like, oh, well, we make this, but we also make cheese. So what could we hide in there and test on people?
Think that's the most scary part. It's like you're hiding vaccines and stuff in food. So it's like we have to grow our own food, but then if I buy these seeds, are these seeds going to be like, are these seeds going to have anything in them already? So like, where do I get my seeds from? You're going to have to like get them from a neighbor who's been growing tomatoes for like years and years and years and hope that things weren't sprayed on it. But there also could be like, we talked about the big fog and stuff that's going on in the valley right now. That could also be mass, and it's been proven, it's been tested on people, mass vaccinations through like inhalation. So
I could definitely see that.
Yeah. And then, I mean, that could probably get into your soil and the things that you're growing is what I was getting at there. So yeah. Wild stuff.
Yeah. It definitely makes you think about like, where is this coming from? Because I always think about it on the surface level of like, just like, you know, how we get the chicken ick sometimes. Like, I think that.
I often do.
I hate the chicken ick.
But then, like, that's on such a smaller level than like, okay, like what brand? Like, I was just thinking of the actual food, not the brand. Like, where did it come from? What's in partnership with this brand? Do they have an alternative motive?
Okay, one more word on like food though. Like obviously we've been seeing the 3D printed steaks and stuff and chicken and shit and like that stuff's gross.
Yeah.
That's nasty. And if they're 3D printing it, I mean, how hard is it to just add a little vaccine into your steak?
I mean, that's
not
like,
hard.
Just type that into the printer and boom, there it is. I think that's how it's made. So, yeah.
Yikes. That's terrifying. I don't like that.
On ice. I don't like that either.
Say yikes on ice.
I did. I say that a lot. Kind of like Disney on ice. I'm like yikes on ice.
Disney on ice.
I'm making a thing. It'll be a thing soon.
I like it.
Sam doesn't react to it anymore. I say it too much. My package is on the way. Arrives tomorrow.
Yikes on ice.
Yikes on ice. Oh, I already received that. Oh.
You are
a pair of pants. I got a pair of jeans and I have some well, I have some under like merino base layer. That's it. For skiing, because I really want like all of like the really cute like ski wear. I don't know. I just want to be cute.
I just want to be cute.
When my face looks like this, I'm just like, okay, nobody's gonna look at my face if I have cute clothes on, and I don't have to wear makeup if I
Why
have
don't you
cute
like
clothes
your
on.
other ski gear?
Well, my skis I rented in middle school and I never returned them. And so
what?
I have my rental skis from middle school are the skis that I ski on. I haven't grown. And then allegedly my ski boots are a lot nicer than my skis, and allegedly those came from allegedly a place that I allegedly might have worked before allegedly. And those are quite nice. And then yeah, it's all mismatch. My problem is, okay, we're gonna dive deep. If you guys want, if you are a granola girl that likes colorful things, most specifically pink, hit me up. Okay, I got this ski suit. I got it for like on Poshmark, so it was somebody bought it and was selling it for $450. Which is a lot, but it's not that much for a ski suit.
Not for a ski suit. My whole ski outfit was like $400.
Yeah, and they're selling it. It was Free People, and it's all stark white, so really bright white, which chat recently told me is not my color. Chat says I'm an off-white type of gal, and I said okay. And all the zippers are pink, and at first I thought that was cool, but I'm like, it's just a little like it's not really my style. I bought it because I thought it was like the only ski suit that there was, and I was in my Allison era. Natalie knows, and I'm like, Allison would totally wear this. She's an influencer from Florida, and she loves colorful things. And I bought it, and then now they're brand new for like $750. So now I have a brand new ski suit that's like 3 years old, but they're still selling. That's now really expensive. And I'm just trying to get rid of it so I can justify buying a new one. And it doesn't have a belt. I think like having a belt makes it like makes you look a little girlier. Anyways, I don't have any base layers, and wow, I'm chatty today, guys.
You stole the show.
I stole the show. I'll shut up soon.
Basically,
I need like thin merino wool layers if I'm going to be wearing something that's fitted to like keep me warm. You know, like I can't be wearing like a hoodie under a ski suit. So that's why I got some stuff, and I like shopping.
Nice.
That's understandable.
Yeah. I like shopping, but I still ski on the skis that I rented in middle school.
I mean, balances it out.
They work. I mean, why would I get new ones? They're almost like they're like blue and kind of like the Artec style, like the running goggles and glasses that are trendy. So it's like I've had my skis so long that they've kind of come back around. And I'm like, that's the goal. They're trendy again.
Time capsule.
Vintage.
Time capsule.
All right.
All
What's
right.
everyone else's topic?
Nat, you go. Mine's kind of short. It's
okay.
So
mine. So I have missed a couple episodes because of work, work and travel. But so my last topic, I discussed a drug tunnel, a CIA involvement drug tunnel from Mexico to the U.S. And based on recent activities in South America with a certain country that starts with a V, I thought I would talk about basically wars, drugs, and the Rothschild Bank. So in 2002, there were, I think it was like 9 or 10 countries without a Rothschild-owned bank. That was Iraq, Libya, Afghanistan, Sudan, Venezuela, Iran, Cuba, Syria, North Korea, and Russia. Today, there is only, we cross 5 of those off of the list. after U.S. involvement and war. So Iraq, Libya, Afghanistan, Sudan, and now Venezuela are crossed off of that list and now have central banking systems related to the Rothschild.
Wait, pause. I know that there's so much more that goes into wars and US's influence, but just listening to what you just said, in my mind, the United States like went into these countries and was like fighting them and being like, "You will have a banking system." Well, and they're like, "No, we don't want a banking system.
It's not necessarily that. It's like a conglomerate of reasons. Like basically, it comes down to natural resources, money, and drugs. And all of them are either tools or reasons behind it, and it's all just like
it's those cheese drugs.
Little kids putting their hands in a cookie jar is what it is. They're all slimy people, and I'm just like, why do we care?
Rolling over the basketball hoops with their little torch thingies. Yeah,
I know. With their forklifts.
That's the word.
So that's what I'm saying. We tried with Iran, but we're not there yet. Same with Syria, but I think Cuba is next. I don't think we'll test anything out with North Korea or Russia at the moment. But anyway, getting into the podcast episode. So, what if modern wars that the US is involved in is not actually about winning or being the good guys and putting whoever, I don't know. We always get involved and we're like, look, we chose a new leader for this country. Oh, look, they have become westernized and now they're our ally and another country's ally. Because
have you seen, not to interrupt, have you seen like all the people, like the videos of the people like cheering that they killed the dictator though? That they're like no longer under a dictatorship?
I've seen some of those,
people,
which I'm not
happy about that.
Isn't he here in prison, Maduro?
I don't know. Yeah, I just know that he's not ruling them anymore.
No, we placed I forget her name, a lady in charge, and she went to kiss a certain wall, and now everyone's happy.
Okay, continue. This all makes sense now.
Yes.
I know where you're going.
So we often go into countries we're like, oh my gosh, there's like a terrorist group, blah blah blah, which we secretly fund and create all of those terrorist groups to kind of destabilize, and we're like, oh look, we need to give them a new leader. We do this all the time, and it's not just about territory, it's not always about oil, but it's about money, debt, and drugs, basically. So I'll kind of, instead of going into a specific like singular conspiracy, kind of just discuss a pattern and things that we have seen within history. So it connects military intervention, banking reform, drug economics, and long-term national dependency. So first part, the central bank narrative. So there is a claim, which I don't think every single war is like, oh my gosh, they need a central bank that's like connected to the Rothschilds. I don't think that's the specific reason, but it's definitely connected. Where the US targets countries that resist Western aligned central banking, aka the Rothschild family. So what is documented is after US or NATO interventions, countries often restructure or create central banks, open markets to IMF and World Bank loans, accept structural adjustment programs, privatize state assets, peg or float currencies under external pressure, which isn't a secret. That's like open international finance policy. So the question is military force consistently followed by financial integration? And if yes, like what is the motive and like why? So
this is like the Titanic. Like,
yeah, like the whole Federal Reserve and everything is always about.
That will have to be a separate one, but it was like, no, we don't want the Rothschilds to own our money system privately. Boop, you all sunk down under now.
Very, yeah. I think didn't we talk about that? Well, I think we just talked about the Titanic specifically, not the banking system, which maybe I will eventually.
Think about the banking, yeah.
But so within this topic. So the wars that we cause create the perfect conditions for this. So war does three things efficiently: destroys infrastructure, collapses the currency, and creates dependency. So once the nation is destabilized, it needs loans, it needs aid, and it needs reconstruction capital. And capital always comes with conditions. Like with us, we're like, oh, we'll give you this, but we're going to give you a new leader, and you have to do this, and you have to do this. So that's where our like occupation of a country kind of starts. So drug money basically is it's like the black currency, or I forget what they call it, but that's how we fund the wars. And it sounds like very conspiracy, but it's seen like throughout history in a ton of places. So giving documented historical examples, Laos and Vietnam, aka the Golden Triangle, during the Vietnam War, the CIA operated Air America. Have you guys heard of that?
Air America? So. No.
It's like an airline, but the CIA owned it. Like, so officially, oh, sorry.
I was gonna say American Airlines, but like different.
No, it was just like an old, like U.S. airline. Doesn't exist anymore. But on the front, they were like, okay, it's just like for transport and logistics, and it's just a United States airline company. But it was later revealed that opium was being flown out of the Golden Triangle in Vietnam. Heroin production exploded, and profits funded militias in the area.
So the CIA was using their CIA airline, and they were bringing opium back to then create heroin, and that's why it exploded.
Yeah, so that's why a lot of people, or U.S. people that were enlisted, or I think, yeah, they were drafted, basically. Yeah. People would do a year in Vietnam, and they would get addicted to drugs, and they would come back to the U.S. and be addicted to drugs. So they would keep it going. They'd be like giving it to their friends, and it made the opium business like explode.
Do you think the CIA was profiting off that?
Yes. Well, it's documented that they were. So, and they would use the profits from that to fund militias in the area to kind of do their deeds. So as a result, the U.S. troops had an addiction crisis. There was a congressional investigation, I think a series of them, and then quietly they admitted all of this, but there is obviously, like the CIA, there's no accountability. They just kind of flush it on the rug. They're like, yeah, we do stuff sometimes, don't worry about it. So drug trafficking was tolerated because they were like, oh, strategically, like we had to do it. Like we had to, don't worry about it. So in the 1980s, I think I talked about this last time briefly. I kind of connected it, the Iran-Contra cocaine and covert war. So Congress blocked funding for the Contras. We were selling arms illegally to Iran. Cocaine was trafficked into the US, and profits were recycled into our covert operations. And that can also be documented through like CIA documents as well. So when democracy restricts funding, illicit economies fill in, like it's like the black fuel to the wars, basically. So a lot of times they'll make drugs illegal because then they have control over the whole like underground system.
Yeah, and so they could arrest anybody trying to make the other drugs.
And it makes it more valuable. Yeah, it makes it so much more expensive.
True.
So they make a ton of money. And then in Latin America, across Colombia, Honduras, and Guatemala, military is aligned with U.S. interests. Drug money funded anti-communist stability, and cartels selectively enforced against all of this. So drug networks were often tolerated when, I guess, to maintain geopolitical order too. But then going to Afghanistan, so in Afghanistan, they actually banned opium. So the Taliban bans opium production, and the UN report showed a 90% drop in opium use and selling and whatnot. And then they briefly exit the global heroin market. So they're just no more drugs. And then after 2001, the US invades, the Taliban's removed, and opium production goes right back up. And it supplies 90% of the global heroin again. And a lot of people that were there were like, yeah, I don't know what, like, why we were just guarding opium fields. Like, I don't know what we were doing over there. We were just standing in front of like poppy fields. So that's kind of, I guess, proof or whatever of like what we were actually doing over there. We were up to no good. We were supplying drugs. So this happened under NATO surveillance. And it was all, I guess, conglomerated and put into action by all of our intelligence agencies. And I guess the official explanation was, oh, like counterterrorism was our priority and eradication destabilizes like farmers or whatnot. But basically, we're like, I don't know, how does the world's largest drug economy flourish under the most monitored military operation in history? Like,
yeah, they've got
it was definitely us. So then from heroin to fentanyl, Afghanistan didn't just produce drugs, it rebuilt the global trafficking infrastructure. So heroin floods into Europe and Asia, and they have a bunch of distribution routes, and they're all now stabilized because the drugs are flowing again, the money's flowing again. And then that leads to money laundering, and then fentanyl comes into the picture, and heroin, I guess, is the gateway, and then there's just drug chaos all over, and it weakens all of these societies, and then those weakened like areas, they accept the control basically because they're all addicted to drugs. Or
Everyone is sounding up to no good in this situation.
yeah, basically. And then pharmaceutical companies are like the legal loophole to all of this. So when heroin spreads globally, pharmaceutical companies market opioids, and the addiction risks are downplayed and a bunch of people become dependent on it. So then they have two streams, which is the legal opioids and the illegal heroin. So, but it just leads to the same outcome. It's addiction, profit, long-term dependency, and they keep their money flowing. Honestly, it's a good business. It's a very good business because we give all of our money away, and we like, money isn't real because it's not backed by anything.
All the time. I'm like, yes, you could buy those new skis because money's not real. Get the same skis.
It's girl math. It's literally just girl math.
Seriously.
Drugs and girl math.
Winston agrees.
So then bringing in the banks. So after war, and drugs basically topple over all of these countries, and they're like, oh, we're dependent, like, we're weak, we can't do anything. So we're like, okay, we got you. So rebuilding requires loans, and loans come from IMF, World Bank, Western developed banks. And this devalues currency, and it privatizes finances and cuts to public services, and then foreign capital access. So the drugs destabilize, and then the debt stabilizes our control over these countries. And then moving into Libya, which I do need to do a full episode on Gaddafi and how we
is Gaddafi murdered. Like when people are like the Gaddafi coast?
There's this guy. He was a really, really good leader, actually, in Libya. He was awesome. And we killed him.
Oh, and that was his
after
name?
He gave.
I thought that was a place.
It might be a place too, or a place named after him. I'm pretty sure that was his name. But he gave a speech. I think it was at the UN whatever meeting. And he outed everything. He was like, we've been being slimy. The CIA does this and this and that. And he told everyone what was what, and then we killed him.
So maybe I Googled the other day. I said, is the CIA hiring?
They are. They're always hiring.
I want in on these crazy operations because it's like the Wild West.
Because getting in on these crazy operations means they're going to be sneaking heroin in your cheese when you buy lunch at the cafeteria. They're going to be putting vaccinations in your water. I don't know.
They already do all of that.
But they're going to test it on you first, so you're going to be like 50 years ahead.
That's true.
I saw something. Oh, sorry, continue. It was just like, okay, hold on. Fluoride, I think, where was fluoride created? Oh, fuck, I saved it.
That's why we don't have copper pipes anymore.
I thought fluoride said it was created and first shown in like Nazi Germany. I could be wrong. Something crazy like that, like some massive point of time. That's when it was first seen, and it was used for like mind numbing, like what? And then now it was supposed to like make you be out of it, kind of more compliant and a little more like quiet, and they used it as like a drug in like Nazi Germany or whatever the event was.
On. Do you think there's a connection between fluoride and the GATE program?
Oh, probably. For sure.
Because the GATE program but I know
program. We've done multiple episodes. Natalie's been gone.
The reason we have PVC pipes is so we have fluoride in our water, because copper pipes were actually very good for you. And we got rid of all of them.
Yeah. And so basically they said now it's in like 90% of water. What, Katie?
Wait.
What, Katie? What's on your chin, kitty?
I'm going to read you something. I said, yeah, there is a connection between people who recall the gifted and educational, talented education program, the GATE program.
Should we give Natalie and the listeners like a 2-sentence rundown of what the GATE program is?
Was that
the That's when so that's when you're in like between the 60s, I think it was the 70s and the 90s, when they put like the headphones on you, they gave you a little
I was here for that, yeah.
Thing. Okay, yeah. Basically they give you a little bit of juice and then they do tests on you, and then it's thought that is part of MK Ultra, pretty much.
And that's leading to people having the mall world, leading to people having mall world dreams. But when you said fluoride, and then I was like, oh, GATE program, because, that's just what they were testing on school children. I just Googled it, and it says, yes, there's a connection between the GATE program administering fluoride rinses as a supplement, sometimes linking it to psychic or unusual experiences. Blah, blah, blah. Obviously, fluoride is used for dental health sometimes, but the general GATE program for gifted students, it's a legitimate program. And basically the quote unquote conspiracy, the thought is that it was also one of the tests they were doing on the GATE kids.
I could see that. And I mean, now they sell like fluoride free toothpaste, so it's probably in your water. Like if they're
Mom always opted us
in your water.
Like when everyone did the fluoride, I had to sit there and I was like, I want to do fluoride. It sounds so fun, but I just
sounds so fun. Give me the drugs.
I want the fluoride. Just give me through the day. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Okay. So that makes me wonder about Mom and her conspiracy theories.
We should have her on an episode.
She doesn't want to come on. She's too shy.
We could ask her, what does she know about fluoride?
We could just come on. And she doesn't have to show her face, and we could alter her voice. Make her talk out of our like microphone.
You won't even know it's her. We'll just be like, we have a special guest.
A special secret guest. We'll tell you the next week that it was our mom, but we won't we'll be quiet about it when she's on.
Okay, let me jump into Libya really quick. So Libya, they resisted IMF debt, Western banking integration, and I believe they had a gold-backed currency, which we're like, no, if it's backed in gold, then you can't go into debt. Like, you can't have that. We need you in debt. So after NATO intervenes, their central bank, of course, was restructured. Their country collapsed. Slave markets reappeared. Arms and drugs flood Africa and Europe. So was banking the reason? What was the reason for this? There's no proof, but the outcome fits the pattern. So states that still resist all of this, Iran, Syria, Cuba, North Korea. So yeah, we will see what happens, because it's always either drugs, money, power that back all of these wars. So that's what I'm thinking is the deal with Venezuela, because they are also on this list. I think they partnered with a Rothschild investor at least. But
did you know that the Rothschilds and Rockefeller are in the same family?
I did. There's a weird
Just recently I learned that.
A weird incest thing also with the Rothschild.
I heard that too. That's why they're so fucked up.
Yeah. But yeah, that is where I'm at. I think it also has to do with also oil and currency. Venezuela applied to be a BRICS nation, which is basically not like oil with non-US currency. And we're like, no, we want to make money. We need everyone using US currency. So I don't know what the reason is that we are dipping our hands in the South American cookie jar. But I think it's suspicious. That's all I gotta say. But I mean, if we get cheaper gas, I'll take it. But I think we are up to no good. That's all I'm saying, because we always are up to no good.
I agree. We're always up to no good. That leads me into mine, up to no good and money.
Up to no good and money.
Okay, so this topic was not one of the many cool ones that I have outlined, and it came to me today because it relates to my everyday life. So, as you guys know, I bought a house last year, and the house had never been in a flood zone before. And it was, they said, oh, no, the old owners, they've never paid flood insurance. They've had the house since the 90s, because there's other houses I looked at that were in a flood zone, a current flood zone. You have to pay flood insurance. And I said no to those. So this one I get under contract, and it comes back that, the old people didn't have to pay flood insurance, but actually you have to pay flood insurance. And I was like, what? This is crazy. So like when I was closing, I was just like, fine, I'll pay it. We'll do it, because I want this house. I already like am deep into it. So then I like was angry about it, because then after I closed on the house, whatever, I was like, okay, it's like a fair amount of money. So I'm calling around, and I'm like, why? I don't understand. And basically, and this again came about because I have it right here. Make sure there's no important information on here. I got a almost $3,000 bill in the mail today for my flood insurance for the year. And I was like, this reminds me why I'm so angry about this, because I pay regular homeowners insurance, but on top of that, I pay flood insurance. So I looked at the maps and I tried everything to fight them on it. And basically, my house, I have 5 acres, and it's against a creek all the way in the back of the 5 acres. But my house is uphill from the creek. So I was like, this makes no sense. So then I look at the flood map, and the flood zone allegedly comes through like 3 or 4 neighbors' houses and then touches the corner of my barn. It doesn't even touch my house. And my flood insurance doesn't cover anything inside my house. So if my house floods, nothing inside is covered. And it's only up to $250,000, which, like, between my barn and my house, that's like not even half. Like, I don't understand. So that reignited my anger for FEMA. And apparently what FEMA has done, and we're going to talk about today, maybe some ideas as to why, some money or secretive ideas, but why are they charging me all this money if my house is not even in a flood zone? And the answer that I was given, because I called them to ask.
Did you call them today?
Not today. I called them in the past like couple months. Okay. And basically what was explained to me from FEMA was that, correct, my house was never flooded in the past. It was never in a flood zone in the past. But in 2022, after all of those, I believe the Carolina flooding and all of that stuff, and then the payout, and then was there somewhere else flooded a lot, where they went to disaster relief. Basically, FEMA said, we wanted to make sure that everyone is safe and covered. So we actually expanded our flood zones.
That sounds like my manager when she was trying to take me make me take a 30-minute break. And I'm like, bitch, just like let me work.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, you expanded your flood zones because now millions of people have to pay $3,000 to you a year, and now you're making more money. So don't spin it on me saying, oh, now you're covered, we expanded it. So even though the people who owned my house before, there was never a flood, it's not in a flood zone before, because I purchased a home after 2022, it's in FEMA's expanded, remapped flood zones. So now I have to pay, which sounds like a scam. So then my question was, what is FEMA doing with all of this extra money? Because think about how much money, it's millions, definitely millions, that they're getting. So some people say, okay, it could just be they wanted to charge more money because they use so many resources. But then I'm like, okay, how many resources are they actually using? Liv, you look like you're going to say something.
No, I hiccuped and I was trying not to make any noise. But what I was going to say, I lost it. Keep going.
Sorry. To ask,
yeah.
With your flood insurance too, weren't you saying that if your house is damaged by a flood, they don't even like help you out?
No, they
don't.
That's
messed up.
It's external damage. So like the shutters and the outside and the bricks. No, they don't cover anything inside. I have the paper right here.
Your bricks get wet.
Yeah, they'll replace those. They don't cover anything inside. And my house is like 400 something thousand, and my barn I think is like 100 something thousand, but they only cover up to 250. It says the building coverage is 250 and the contents coverage, everything inside your home, is 0. So they don't cover anything inside my house and they make me pay it.
That's messed up.
Yeah. So this made me think, because I was all fired up, aside from trying to make up from their like financial losses, what else is FEMA spending my money on? So do you guys remember that alligator Alcatraz?
Oh yeah.
So there's a whole conspiracy behind not only that one, but all these other camps. So essentially, I'll outline the idea and then we can go back into it. So if you Google it, if you look it up, it's called FEMA camps. So FEMA has this map, and I'll send you guys a screenshot right now so you can look. Basically, the idea of this, if there is a giant disaster, there's this giant, I don't know, the government goes under and FEMA, there's like all flooding and like all these natural disasters and whatever. FEMA says, don't worry, we have a plan for this. And their plan is that they're going to break the United States up into, I think it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different camps. And I'm texting it to you guys now. 10 different regions. Mm-hmm. And in each region, there's going to be different camps, which allegedly already exist. Sometimes there's multiple in there. And they claim that these camps are going to be basically disaster relief. But people are saying that they are state-of-the-art just camps that they're building. Some are state-of-the-art, some are like kind of janky, like alligator Alcatraz, and they are using them for like nefarious reasons. So
alligator Alcatraz is in a flood zone.
Okay. It's in a huge flood zone.
Looking at this right now, and New York is its own little thing. Like New York and New Jersey, I wonder if that has a similar population to like Southern California.
There's a whole website. I'll text you if you're curious.
That's crazy.
On everything.
Damn. That's crazy.
But you can look on the FEMA website and it will show you the different states and the territories. It has this exact map. And then if you want to click through it, you can click on the different regions and the different states within them, and it will show you the different camps. So
okay, so are the dots that are on here where the camps are located? Because the California camp is damn near right on top of me.
You should go find it.
There's another one I will send you.
Okay.
So they call them one active disaster. Hold on, let me see. I'm going to send you a website. This one
camp. I'm good.
You can look through it. So basically the idea, what people have been talking about, is what if these camps are not used for disaster relief all the time? What if the government put them there? Because if you look, there's like, I forget which one it is. There's like trains that go directly there. There's like all the like gated, it's all gated off. There's highways, like it's always located near some something that could transport people there. So when the government collapses and the quote unquote new world order takes over, or like if the government collapses, essentially, I don't know if this is true, but this is what when I was reading, it said FEMA and Homeland Security are in charge. So
government collapses. I'm taking it into my own hands. I feel like these camps are like the Somalian daycares.
Well, okay, yeah. So that's the trick. That's how they'd essentially get you there. It's like people who live in cities, or like very populated areas, they would quickly run out of items and like provisions. So they would say, "Hey, get on this train that I've conveniently made that gets there. Don't go on the train.
They're desperate. Don't get on the train."
And we have supplies here. We're FEMA. So then they would bring them over and you would get there. And then they'd say, actually, there's actually no one who's in charge of the government. So everyone's staying here, kind of like how they're detaining people in Alligator Alcatraz. And that would become like some type of work camp or whatever. So, yeah, let me read you just a little bit of what I have, because it's all very
odd. The Puerto Rico, wow. Puerto Rico? I don't know why I couldn't say that right now.
It's the wine.
And
it's
the
okay.
Virgin, no, I've literally had 2 sips. Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands are with New York and New Jersey.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird?
That makes sense.
That's really weird.
Do we all share?
Like, where are we getting to? Like, are they coming to New York or are we going to Puerto Rico?
I don't know. We haven't worked that hard.
Are we taking a boat? Or are we taking
They're taking a boat
plane?
before their train.
Are we taking a submarine? Are we taking a space shuttle? Sorry, continue. I just don't quite understand how those are in the same, like, camp area.
Can we go to Hawaii? Since we're going to Hawaii?
So, and Liv, this will answer your question in a minute about the locations. So basically, FEMA presents itself as, oh, these are disaster relief camps. But some people believe that FEMA is secretly planning to end up detaining U.S. citizens in different camps during a crisis or under martial law, something if the new world order takes over. People are saying that the camps are hidden and that they're disguised as facilities that are scattered across the U.S. And so if FEMA's ever asked about them, they say, yeah, they're here to help you. Just like they told me about the flood insurance. It's here to help you. It's like, if there's a flood, don't worry. Now you're kind of covered. And so they were spinning it. People are calling them FEMA prison camps, and they're ready to accept detainees. And that's kind of what they did at Alligator Alcatraz. I'll send you some pictures in a second. And what was the other thing? Yeah, basically Alligator Alcatraz is FEMA. I guess they spent $608 million, and it links directly to the federal disaster fund. So go me. I contributed 3,000 of that, I guess.
That's shady.
It's crazy.
They'll put you in first class on the train.
Yeah. Yeah, my train. It was built in 2025. So yeah, I just think it is sketchy. I think that they're up to, like Nat said, that we're up to no good. What else was I going to say about it? Include people to fund their camps. And yeah, I just called them, and that was the other thing. I called them and I was like, hey, like, you think my house is in a flood zone. I don't think it's in a flood zone. What can we do? Like, can we get a test? Can I have someone come out? And basically they were like, no, there's nothing you can do. I was like, that's crazy. And I guess
what if you just don't pay it?
Then I lose my house.
Okay, so do you have to? So
they
when
control the banks with the mortgage.
When you finish paying your mortgage, when you pay off your house, do you have to pay flood insurance anymore?
No, I just have to pay homeowners insurance. Yeah. Isn't that crazy? So the flood insurance is connected to the banks. So the Rothschilds are controlling FEMA, and they probably are going to be the first ones in their fancy camps.
Oh, incest.
Yeah. It's kind of shady to call it like a camp after like all the other camps we've had. Like,
yeah,
concentration camps.
Camps are never good.
Like work camps. Yeah,
camps
are never good. Jesus camp.
I like
it. They literally made us work at Jesus camp. No,
they did.
We built ramps at Jesus camp.
Maybe you were building
we
FEMA
paid
camp.
to work.
Maybe
It was very fun. It was very fun. However, we paid to work at Jesus Camp.
We
I'm
did,
just
yeah.
saying. Yeah, we didn't
Similar
pay. Mom and
to other
Dad paid
camps.
for us to work.
Similar to these other camps that you're talking about, they have trains that go straight into them, and they have fences, and they have. I'll send you.
It's no good.
Natalie's working on those trains.
No, I'm not.
Yeah. So
we should all.
What?
We should all do a career change. Katie, you go into the CIA. I'll go into FEMA. Liv, you find something that, and we'll get like an insider like perspective.
I'll be undercover.
That's
because
kind of what
FEMA is always something I never trusted. FEMA, I was always like something sketchy about it. But they are the most like obscure, like indefinitive, I think, agency.
Yes.
Like no one knows what they do.
I was just gonna say, what is FEMA? What does it stand for?
I have it right here. Also, to hold on before I read it to you. Why, if the government goes under, why is FEMA
in charge?
And yeah, why is FEMA and Homeland Security in charge?
Like, Homeland Security is like,
part of the government?
You don't belong here, right? Like, isn't that what Homeland Security is? Like, making sure people who live in the U.S. like are the only people in the U.S. Homeland Security,
it's like super cops.
Yeah, it's like security at the mall. It's like a mall cop. Like, hey, you don't belong here, get out.
Cops.
It's like America's mall cops. Like, hey, you don't belong here, get out. Right?
FEMA, I think they do like terrorism, like all types of like Homeland,
like the Department
America
of Homeland
Security. Yeah. So FEMA stands for the Federal Emergency Management Agency, which is a U.S. government agency within the Department of Homeland Security.
Okay, but if the government goes under, why are we trusting government?
I don't know.
Or is that the company that you're paying flood insurance to?
Mm-hmm.
You're paying
flood insurance I'm paying, and this is the second thing I was going to look at. So I'm paying a non-AON Edge, a non-Edge private flood insurance, but I got different quotes from different insurance companies because FEMA told my bank that I can't have my mortgage unless I pick a flood insurance to pay, which then I paid my flood insurance and it goes to these guys pay, I think, a cut to FEMA.
I think it's just all a scam. So this is when you started talking about this, it reminded me of the fires in Malibu because everybody, like all the insurance companies, once there was actually an issue, they dropped everybody. They're like, sorry, we're not covering you anymore. So it's like they're taking all the money, it's a scam. And then once there's an issue or right before there's an issue, they drop everybody. And then they're like, okay, good luck. You should have had insurance. And so here it's almost like, hey, you have to keep on paying. However, if there's actually an issue, like if there's a tornado and then everything floods, like I'm actually not going to help you. Like maybe I'll help you with your barn, but not your house. So yeah, it's like
they set up all these camps to be like, oh, we're going to help people. And yeah, they say disaster relief. So like those crazy floods in the Carolinas, I'm sure FEMA gave some people like provisions and they went out and actually like saved people. But when it comes to the everyday civilian, like my house is not going to flood. It hasn't flooded. It's been here since the 70s. It's never flooded. It's uphill from the, and they're trying to tell me like, oh yeah, FEMA just expanded. It's fine.
Well, everyone in North Carolina during those like hurricanes and the flooding event there, when FEMA showed up, everyone in North Carolina, they were like, something weird is going on because FEMA's here. They're not helping us. They're not giving anyone any money, like disaster relief money. I think they all got a check for $700. Yeah. $700 for losing their homes. And FEMA was coming in, like people, there was one specific case. This guy owned, I think it was either a convenience store or a grocery store, like owned his own business. And they came in, they're like, we're taking this over. It's ours now. And they just claimed it. And they're like, this is ours. You can go. No.
They had to.
They were doing sketchy stuff. So no, they weren't helping there. Like days after the, I guess, floods and everything, people were waiting on huge lines just to get propane. and it was still like they hadn't done anything to help people. They were just kind of flying in and looting.
Okay, now this just reminds me of like the whole government, to be completely honest, reminds me of like my like off the record, my my bar going out of business and then now coming back open. And like there's one allegedly really crappy owner to work for, right? And everyone's like, "Oh, I'm leaving. I don't want to work here anymore." And I kind of went to them and I'm like, "Well, I mean, it's a really great place to make money. Like, you're going to go somewhere else and there's going to be another shady business owner because, for the most part, you don't get to the top by being a good person." And I feel that way about politics. Like, do you ever, like, I've never looked at a, like, I've never met somebody who wants to be a politician who's like wholesome and genuinely wants to do better for the world. Like, they're just like, they want to get to the top, they want the fame, they want the fortune, they want to be in charge. And like only the best of the best, who are the shadiest of the shadiest, make it to be like president and stuff like that, ruling FEMA, making decisions. So it's like, I think that we're being controlled. Yikes on ice. Over here in America and really everywhere. Soon to be New World Order.
You want to know something crazy? And I just looked at this and I don't know how this relates, but I will think about it and report back. I'm looking. So FEMA says, yes, you're in a flood zone. So basically, yeah, FEMA dictates the flood zones. So whatever FEMA says goes. So I'm now in a flood zone. So I need to pick a carrier for my flood insurance. I had the choice, so I went with the cheapest one. Actually, I paid a broker. You can pay a broker to find you insurance. So I paid a broker. And this one says, I'm reading it right now, I use Aon Edge private flood insurance. And guess where it's located out of? It's not in the United States.
Israel.
No.
Is it Canada?
It's London.
Weird.
So do we have a connection to, is there a, like, why am I using one that's not in the United States?
I have a flood insurance question.
Yeah.
So where is your stream?
5 acres to the back of my property.
So it's
property
only like, it's only like the line, the land line.
It borders mine, but if you look at, because I requested the official flood map, it's not what you're thinking. It's not, they're not saying that the flood is going to come up all of my 5 acres up the hill and get my property. The flood map shows that 5 or maybe like 4 houses down sideways across all my fields, that because of how the elevation is, that if there was a flood, if the creek rose, it would flood all of those houses. And then there's this little tiny line that will come apparently across my flat field in the left and come and touch my barn.
What if you change your topography? Like,
How?
what if you, like, either talk with your neighbors and reroute the stream, or
that's highly illegal, I believe.
Oh, no, it is a super fun site. So maybe
no, if you would have to collaborate.
Don't touch the water.
Not, you would have to collaborate with them to do that. Like if it's on their property.
But you don't own that water, so I don't think you're allowed to like deal. I don't think you're.
I think I own.
But what if you build up like the elevation by the stream of your land, and then you're like, look, it can't flood anymore.
It can't go over this. I don't know what there is an elevation number. I was actually out there being a creep with my Garmin. I went on a walk and it shows you the elevation difference. And so I was walking along their property and then walking up to my property to try to measure. And I want to say it's something stupid like 7 feet or 14 feet. That's of elevation. Like you need to be 7 feet or 14 feet up.
What if you just add 7 feet of just make a big pile?
I guess. I don't know. I also looked into,
what if you,
because I wanted to know, how do I get rid of this? Because I'm sure I'm not the only one. And basically, I'm going to call them an engineer or whatever. But basically, it needs to be like a surveyor who specializes in topography. And they will come and do it. And if they get the official report and say you are clear and this is your elevation and you are actually not in this flood zone, because FEMA didn't come out and measure. They just look
She
at
frozen.
maps.
Okay.
Oh, I said FEMA didn't come out and measure, so they just look at
Oh,
maps. So if the
we're back.
surveyor comes and says, "Oh, actually, you're a little bit outside of this," then we can get out of it. But I looked into it; it's $7,000.
I could probably just get licensed by my company and do it.
Well, that's what we were thinking, because then I went to Ryan and Michaela at first, because Michaela does all of like mapping and like bio things, and she pulled up her different maps and she made all of these, but yeah, it wasn't like an official whatever, so they wouldn't accept it. And I went to the town of Pleasant Valley, and all of them were saying, "This is great, but you need to go back to FEMA. FEMA only
Okay.
takes
Yeah, FEMA only
whatever."
takes their company. So if some reason the flood got your barn, are they only covering the exterior of your barn, or are they getting you a new barn?
No, only the exterior. So all my mowers, my animals, my tools, my tractors, all
They're
gone.
not covering the interior. And is that normal for flood insurance, or is that just because you went with the cheapest flood insurance?
Likely because I went with the cheapest one, which is still $3,000. My homeowner's
That's a lot.
insurance, like homeowners, if like
Yeah,
I don't know, there's a fire or whatever, that's like $1,000 a year.
a
So this is
year.
more than double. So I pay
I
that
was
on
gonna
top of it.
say, like, what if you move your barn? That way, no structures are touching. Like, it wouldn't be easy, but you could take
Yeah.
down your barn, move it.
Well, that's
Like,
why
Just
I
you're
move
getting rid
it.
of
suggested
the
the
goats.
landscaping because that's easier.
Yeah, I mean, but we had somebody who wanted to just take your barn
Yeah. Maybe I'll
and take
hire
it from
her.
you.
Why don't you just take it
Just be
apart
like,
and then put it
hey,
back together?
just take it and put it over here because it would be so easy. Um, but yeah, I wonder. So, and if the water wasn't allegedly touching the barn anymore, would you be owing this insurance?
I don't know. And easier is, and maybe I'll see if I could find the official map and I'll like blur out the addresses. It looks like a tiny, tiny, tiny stream that goes through all of the neighbors' houses and then comes through my field and then just kind of drops off and touches like the corner of my stuff down here by my driveway. So what if I just changed the, like Nat said, the topography of that field and just bought a bunch of soil, so then like the field is now on a slant, so it's never going to reach my house and there's nothing to flood in the field. You can flood the field if you want.
Well, okay, this reminds me we were thinking about building a shooting range on our property
Mm-hmm.
and it's on a hill. And so we'd be shooting downhill, so we would have to build like a massive barrier and wall to shoot into. And so
Mm-hmm.
if you built something like that, you'd be shooting into this barrier, which is now the water can't go over the barrier, especially if it's like official topography,
Yeah, I don't know.
right?
I don't know if anyone has ever dealt with flood insurance, and it's what gets
How do
me is
they
that
calculate the amount that you have to pay?
What if you make some massive drains?
Because
uh,
your risk of damage does not add up to like the amount that you're paying.
I
No.
don't think that they look at the risk of damage. I think it's a yes or a no. Is your house in a flood zone? So I could have bought
But
the
your
other
house is not. Can
I
you
could
just be
have.
like, this building is not occupied?
Yeah.
No, it's just it's part of it. I could have, so I turned down other houses that I was looking at that were on like lakes and actually on creek sides, because there was supposed to be flood insurance on those, and they told me for this house, no, 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 no flood insurance. But then after I was in contract and like closing, they said, "Oh, actually, I'm so sorry, I didn't." And this was really, they didn't know. They were like, "There's this new FEMA thing, blah blah blah." So
Hmm.
I really could have gotten
Would
any
you
of
have
those
been
other
paying the
houses and paid the
same?
same.
Really? So if you had a lakefront, because I remember some of the really beautiful houses you looked at, and you're like, oh, it's waterside. I could sit out here and listen to the creek. You love to fish. You could have fished right off the outside
Mhm.
of your house. Um,
I went with the cheapest.
yeah,
Like if I wanted to pay more, I could pay like $5,000 a year, and I'm sure they would cover more.
yeah,
But the cheapest of the cheap is still like $3,000. So like 3,000. How much is that extra on my mortgage? Because that's how I pay it. Is that's just in my mortgage payment. So if it's $3,000 divided by 12, that's an extra like 250 on top of my mortgage a
yeah.
month.
I also don't quite understand how this is adding any value to your property. Like, okay, let's say it does flood, and now you could replace the bricks on the outside. Now all of your flooring's ruined. So like,
Mhm.
it's not really providing you stability or like a safety net at
It's not
all.
helping the
Like,
bank
it's
who
not
owns my
helping you.
house, technically.
No, no, it's not helping them. Like it's just like aesthetics sort of from the outside, and then somebody's going to end up with a rotten floor one day because you didn't, like, you flooded and you couldn't pay for it.
Yeah, or they're taking the $3,000 and building camps with it. I think they're doing something else with it.
I think they are.
Funded to Alligator Alcatraz, and you're going to get a first class ticket straight in there if if the corner of your barn floods.
Building. Oh, and guess what my deductible is?
What?
$10,000.
I would see if you can change your topography to get your barn out of the flood zone and have like a surveyor like just
I can't believe it's $7,000.
Yeah.
That's wild. And they're probably like, we need to get your specific, like, you need to be specific certified.
Look up the credentials that they need, and I'll see if I can do it.
I'm sure it's got to be like FEMA's person or something. I don't know.
No, I could get a local surveyor, but they need to be like credentialed, licensed, and then I have to see. They like were so standoffish with me, and they didn't want to explain. Like they kept transferring
because they want their money.
The department. They're like, "Are you trying to pay?" And I'm like, "No, I already pay." And they're like, "Okay, we're going to transfer you over here." And I'm like, "No, I want to talk to someone who." And then they like gave me such vague answers, and they're like, "Well, yeah, we set the flood lines, but then you're going to have to talk to like your local authorities or whatever about like I don't know, like the town and this and that." So I called the town. The town was like, "Yeah, you could get the surveyor and then submit the official results through the town who's like compare against FEMA." Like no one wanted to give me like an easy answer.
So FEMA makes the flood maps.
Yes.
I feel like that's conflict of interest.
I'm a little confused.
I feel like they shouldn't be allowed to create their own data and be like, "Oh, look, you're in the zone, you have to pay." I feel like it should be an outside.
That's definitely conflict
an outside company should have to do that, and they should go based off of an outside company.
They keep expanding it too. So my house was never
that's
in
a scheme.
Yeah,
that's where I'm at. Okay, I'm a little confused because there's never going to be more water in this world.
You should file a lawsuit.
Maybe as glaciers like melting very slowly and slightly, and wherever they are, like in Antarctica, but like there's not more water on this planet. It's like a renewable resource. It's going up in the clouds. It's raining down. There's not going to be more. You can't just make water. I don't think so. Natalie, you're a scientist. You can.
Yes.
Are people just making water?
It's not how it works. And I think it's just, but
it's like it's not rising.
No, not as much as people like. There's certain areas that are rising. There's certain areas where it's dropping. There's certain like.
This is a tiny creek. This is the Wappingers Creek.
I know.
Yes, I think the last time it flooded was in the 50s, and I know that because I'm part of a historical group, and I don't know if my house.
I think FEMA needs to be sued.
Yes,
they need a big lawsuit because that is a conflict of interest, and I think that goes against a lot of policies. But I'm sure they get around it somehow, where they're like, "Oh, like let me redraw some lines because we want some more money, and we're gonna make this person pay." Like that, they should have to go off of something that they did not produce.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because they could just make it up as they go.
I think that's exactly what happened. They said, "Oh yeah, this house was never in it," and then somebody's purchasing it. It's in it now.
Okay, message to FEMA if you're watching. We're coming for you.
You're on my shit list.
I feel like we should just go back to like trading bread for goats and stuff like that, you know?
Yeah.
Like that's the world I want to live in. Why don't we get to live in that anymore? I don't know.
And also with flood insurance, like I guess I get it because technically the bank owns my house because I don't own it yet. But like if you're not gonna, I don't know. Once I pay it off, I guess I get to choose because they're not covering anything anyway.
And I guess that is the draw for you to be living in this house instead of being on the creek side, because you will be comfortable that when you pay this house off that you will not be needing. Yeah. You won't need to continue to pay flood insurance. Where if you lived creekside right next to a water place you would have to pay it for the remainder of your life. Yeah. And so I guess that does save you money in the long run, especially because insurance only goes up. And your
every year it goes up. So how after how many years I'm going to have this is it's going to go from $3,000 to who's to say 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 on top of my homeowners that goes up every year.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's wild.
That is crazy.
So FEMA
makes me want to make this my life. Why can't
yes.
Why can't we all be just dogs that don't have a worry in the world?
I know. Well, that being said, thank you guys for watching. Find us on Instagram, TikTok, email us at 17scootersclub@gmail.com. We are online at 17 Scooters Club, everywhere you can find us. Sometimes we post, sometimes I get lazy. So yeah. Bye guys. Scoot scoot.
Bye.
Scoot. Farewell.
2 wheels are better than 4. From the mountains to the shore, find us rolling up to the pub. We're 17 Scooters Club.